Oh, good morning everyone, and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. It's a bit warmer today. It's 15 degrees. That's the highest temperature it's been since I think last September. So everything's about a month behind where it should be at the moment. But today I'm going to do what I might call the part 2 of showing you what I've never shown you before, and I'll also do some updates on what's growing and what's spiking and whatnot. Okay. Now the first one I'd like to show you is this Paphiopedilum hangianum. It's only sort of 22 centimetres of a leaf span, so it's just above a seedling size, and just starting to put up a new growth there, which is a bit late for it. These come from North Vietnam, and they're said to be lithotypes, which means that they grow on limestone in moss, which the moss is on in the nicks in the limestone, and that's where they grow. So, but it's not advisable to put limestone in when they're growing. Right? There's a debate about this, because limestone is only soluble in cold water. It's not soluble in warm water. So I presume in North Vietnam, when they get the rains, the water's quite warm. So it's not really advisable to put them in any limestone, because the limestone they're on, they're just holding them in place. I don't think the lithotype of them is doing them any good at all. Anyhow, that's only my opinion. I could be wrong. That's Paphiopedilum hangianum, and when it flowers, it's a beautiful big flower. It's sort of a greeny, creamy yellow colour, and it supposedly smells a little bit sweet. Now this is Paphiopedilum barbatum nigritum, which you can tell it's at least a month behind schedule here, because it's not even spiking yet. And this time last year it won the best species at the show. These like intermediate conditions. They're lighting, they like partial shade. Usual open compost for them all Paphiopedilums, you know, one that's quick draining. And I don't use any sphagnum moss in it, because I think that keeps too wet. But if you want to use sphagnum moss, just use quite a small amount to make sure there's a little bit of moisture in the compost. Do not over-wet them. And with this species, you reduce the water greatly in winter for about 3 or 4 months, with just making sure they're not bone dry. So that's you can see the flowers from last year on one of my earlier videos, and they're quite nice. I think you'd like them. Okay, that's Paphiopedilum barbatum nigritum. And the next one I'd like to show you is this young Paphiopedilum magic lantern, a cross between micranthum and delanate. You know, a mixture of the two. So a mixture of the two. Well, the micranthum likes warmish summers and very cold winters in order it to flower, and the delanate is similar in a lot of respects. So the usual keeping for this plant will be sort of nice warm summers and just below average cool winters, you know, down to 40 degrees, something like that, and in winter not letting them go as high as 52, 53 degrees centigrade. And that should induce the flowering on these plants. They have a beautiful flower on them. It's quite big, with the lip of the micranthum, and two-tone pink, with the flowers being a very dark pink, and absolutely beautiful they are. So they're well worth growing, and they're not very difficult. So that's Paphiopedilum magic lantern. And this is a delanate vinicola. So the same way to keep the the magic lantern, it'll be fine for this one. This is very, very dark under its leaves. So this should be a very nice plant if I can get it to flower. Delinati vinicola. This is an Arangis. It's an Arangis stylosa cross articulata, and I don't know a lot about these, only I give it a lot more light and never let it dry out and give it plenty of warmth. And you can grow these mounted quite comfortably, you know, put a piece of moss on some mount and let them grow that way. This has been in this pot now for at least 3 years, and it's grown sort of 3 leaves on it, so it's not doing too badly, but I'm looking forward to it flowering. That's Arangis stylosa cross articulata. And this is an odd one I've got, an Encyclia ciliare. It's beautiful, beautiful white frilly flowers, and it flowered last year. It was absolutely gorgeous. I didn't take a film of it, I don't know why, but if it comes up this year, I'm sure you'd enjoy looking at that one. That's Encyclia ciliare, C-I-L-I-A-R-E, Encyclia ciliare. And now a little update on things. This is the Rhinanthera, and you remember I showed you just coming out with a little spike sort of a month ago. Well, look how that's grown, and I believe they can get these to about 1 metre long, and it's grown that much in what, 6-7 weeks. Beautiful. That's going to be really nice. Got some beautiful little flowers on that. They're sort of a very deep red or orange with yellow spots on, and lots of them. This one, when it flowered last time beautifully, it had over 50 flowers on it. This plant is the Phragmipedium Humboldtii that's growing very fast now. You see the spike coming up, and it's got 2 buds just forming on top there. Phragmipedium Humboldtii. Supposed to be a little bit difficult to flower these, but it's doing okay here. And then we have the usual Andean fire, Phragmipedium, just coming up with a couple of bulbs on top here. Andean fire. You might see there's some yellow leaves on it. Now, these are nothing to worry about. This is the old growth from which it flowered, and the new growths now, like this one and this one down here, are taking the goodness out of the old growth, and that'll die off. But don't take them off until they're ready for it, unless you're showing, and then just clip them off. That's Phragmipedium Andean fire. And then we have the Olaf Gruss coming into flower. One flower here just starting to open. Beautiful little thing. There we are. Another bud behind it. Another spike over here. And this will have another 2 buds, that 2 flowers on it when it flowers. And here again, if I turn it round, you can see the yellowing of 2 leaves there, which is the old growth from where it's flowered from before, dying off. Phragmipedium Olaf Gruss. And about the only Paphiopedilum I can show you at the moment that's worth showing is this Hunsheng Eagle, which is growing very, very nicely now, keeping it nice and moist, and not a lot of fertiliser, but a nice bit of phosphates, and that should come up with 2 or 3 flowers on, all in a line, so that'll be beautiful. The beautiful flowers, if you want to look it up on the web. Paphiopedilum Hunsheng Eagle. Just for the last one is Lady Isabel, just coming into sheath there and growing very, very slowly. Plenty of growths on it, and the big growths now are putting out new leaves, so that should be lovely next year. That's if it flowers next year. Sometimes they take 2 years to reflower these. So that's Paphiopedilum Lady Isabel. Well, that's about all I can show you for today. There's not much else going on, and there's one or two grandies flowering, but I'll not show you them. You've seen them all before. Thank you for watching, and I hope everything's going all right for everybody, and until next time, bye.